Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
You're listening to Believe You Me with Michael the Count Bisping and Paul Felder.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the Believe You Me podcast. This one might be a little bit later than normal because we had some technical issues. I'm still in Sydney, Australia. Paul's still in Philadelphia. And you are a happy man, Paul, because the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Go freaking Birds, Michael. Not only did we win the Super Bowl, my friend, but we absolutely smashed the Chiefs. Taylor Swift can eat one. Andy Reid, peace out, bro. Thanks for your time when you were here in Florida. You know, I loved every second of it. It was a very relaxing, easy game as an Eagles fan. Usually when you're watching these Super Bowl games, if you get the chance to have your team be there, it's stressful as shit, to be completely honest. And we expected a drag it out kind of a back and forth game, and it was anything but, man. The defense was just smashing dudes. I think it was like 5 or 6 sacks on Mahomes. You know, the city burned down yesterday because that's what Philadelphia fans do. Win, lose, doesn't matter. Michael, they were ripping telephone poles out of the ground and carrying them around in celebration because the city and the police department were like, please, because somebody actually tragically, rest in peace to the young man when we won the championship game, fell off of one of the poles in celebration. This poor young kid really hurt himself. So they're very much like,
this weekend.
No. When we won the game to get to the Super Bowl, this kid fell off of a pole and ended up passing away because of it, like a 20-something college student. So they were like, no poles, don't climb the poles. So Philly being Philly, instead of climbing the poles, they decided to rip them out of the ground and carry them around in celebration instead. So, but I was safely in the comfort of my basement, so I didn't get to see anything.
That is, obviously, you know, awful for the young man, but you guys in Philadelphia, you're like, screw it. If we can't climb the poles, we're ripping them out of the ground. The only time I've seen something like that, and well done, I'm sure it was a great day for you all. Obviously a cultural phenomenon in the US, but around the world. I was at Darling Harbour, Sydney. We had a walk around yesterday with my wife and her friend and an old mate of mine. We were just walking around Darling Harbour. There was Super Bowl fever. Let me tell you, the we're going off. I'm telling you. And there was people dressed in all like, you know, Eagles shirts and the Kansas City Chiefs shirts and stuff like that. So I was like, let's get into it. Come on, let's go in one of these bars. And Rebecca, it was a bit loud. You know, she's like, no, we're not going in there. And because, you know, maybe there were half UFC fans as well. So it would have just been a nightmare. I remember in Montreal after UFC 83, I think it was, they won they won something, I think it was the Stanley Cup or something like that. And they were going crazy. They destroyed the city, burned cop cars down, smashed all the shop fronts. I was like, Jesus Christ, imagine if they lost.
I know that. It's funny because even if we had lost, it probably would have been quieter than when we won because people just lose their damn minds. And you got to remember, a lot of the people that are out there doing that just want to be out in the chaos. They might not even be actual Eagles fans. Some of these people that are out there just causing the destruction. They're just like, oh, we're going crazy? Sure, I'll jump on this bandwagon and go crazy. When we won the championship game, the same day that kid fell, a guy was shooting a handgun into the air with like kids and stuff around. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Come on, man. Yeah. And I got to say to Laura Senko, you can kiss my ass too, because she's a Kansas City Chiefs fan. So this one's for her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, Sanko can suck it. Obviously, we're going to get into some MMA stuff. We also have the legendary Dominick Cruz joining us shortly. He had some bad news last week. He had to withdraw from the fight and call time on a legendary career. So we're going to speak to Paul. We're going to speak to Dom. But Paul, you have some other big news as well.
Yeah, man. You know, I think we're past the zone of being able to be a little less worried about it. Yeah, Christine and I are going to have our third child. Not sure what it's going to be yet, but it's going to get crowded around here, Michael. I mean, it's already pretty chaotic with a 2-year-old and a 9-year-old, and now we're going to add another member of the family coming in August. So yeah, hopefully, I mean, I don't really care. I honestly say that I don't care what it is. I wouldn't mind having 3 little girls, but if I can have a little son to take under my wing and get him into the family business, a little bit of martial arts, it would be a lot of fun.
Mate, congratulations. Sorry, I just got a text there from Dom Cruz. Beautiful. Honestly, really, really happy for you. I'm sure everyone here in the comment section will be saying congratulations. That's amazing. Really is. 3 children.
Yeah.
I remember my brother, he had 2 girls, and he was like, same thing. He said, I don't care what it is, but I kind of want a little boy, you know.
Yeah.
Speaking of little boys, sorry, Dom, it was just the perfect segue.
There's no other way that you could do it. You're you, man. Be you. Don't change. Don't change.
Yeah, no. I'm in Sydney. Paul's in Philadelphia. Are you a football fan, Dom?
Yeah, I do love football. Yeah. But out here in Mexico, I haven't really gotten a chance, I'll be honest. They don't play it. You can't find it anywhere out here. And I've been here the last about 11 months training. So I haven't really seen much, but I did watch the Super Bowl. It was a shutout. I like the halftime show. That was cool. American flag, America, let's go.
America, let's go. There was like a protester, wasn't there? Ran on the stage, ran on the field at one point.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. About what?
Yeah, I think he had a flag. I'm not sure exactly what the flag was, but he was running around and got tackled eventually.
I just saw him get
like a Palestine flag or something, like something.
I think that, and it had something written on it as well.
You know I'm saying America flag stuff because halftime show, like he made a flag out of people, and you haven't really seen the American flag be celebrated in a while. So to me, from my experience, so I just really appreciated that. It was good to see.
Of course, Dom. So you're down in Mexico. I know you've been down in Mexico City for a while.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the news by now, mate. So I just want to, I said this on the broadcast and I'll kick it to you guys and obviously let you do the talking. Dom, over the years, I love you like a brother. We brothers do this sometimes, right?
I've seen you knock your brother out, so I'm really careful with you.
I still deny that.
Yeah.
I still deny that.
Okay.
Dom, but listen, all that the little stupid back and forth that we have, there is nothing but respect for your career, for your skills as a fighter. And I will say this as well. You're inspiring to me how you prepare and how serious and the level of professionalism that you dedicate to your craft. You have been training for this final fight for so long and to really give it the best version of yourself and go out with a bang and get the win and just preparing like you always do. Take us through it, Dom. Obviously, we all know by now the shoulder popped. You've called it time in your career. But yeah, the floor is yours, Dom.
Yeah, thanks, Bisping. It means a lot coming from you. Obviously, we got to fight and win our championships on the same night. That's a special thing to get to do. So I was just going, you wanna control, you wanna pretend that you can control things sometimes, especially in the sport. And when you're in it long enough, it takes control, and that's the lesson. Is that when you've never been in control in the first place, it just kind of happens the way the universe chalks it out, or whatever you celebrate, God, whatever it is, they chalk it out for you. And that's what this came down to. I was on borrowed time because I had separated it about 6 weeks prior to accepting this fight with Rob Font. And I was like, when they offered it to me, I was rehabbed and I had sparred and tested myself. And then Shelby asked me if that was a fight that would work. And it was in 6 weeks. And I was like, that's like not too long. And it's 3 rounds. So I don't have to do too many. Like, I don't need to do 8 5-minute rounds. I only need to do 4 to 5 5-minute rounds. So little things like that made me say, okay, I think my shoulder will make it through this camp and I'll be able to do everything I normally do and be well prepared like I'm a champion. Well, in the preparation, going live, doing some live, it shot out the back of my shoulder the second time. And this one was different because it didn't just pop right back in like you see in the movies where you just hit it on a wall and it just slides back in. My first one was kind of like that. They said it. Shout out to the UFC PI guys, Tim Roberts, Lauda, who took good care of me, and they popped it in. But this time it wouldn't go in. The muscles locked it down on top of a nerve. And it was out for like an hour and a half where I'm driving to the hospital. You're waiting there with the arm in your hand to get an x-ray. And during that whole process, it was kind of like a find Jesus type of moment, kind of like when you're in a weight cut and you haven't had food or water in a week, you just see things differently. Everything looks differently when you're in that kind of space. And getting it set back in and just feeling the relief of pain from that. And then just realizing if this keeps falling out, you only get so many times that thing gets to come out before it's just ruined. It just stops working. And I want to be able to raise my arm, to be able to do this after 7 days is pretty great. And a couple more times, I might not be able to do that. I might only get this high. And I still want to have a life. I'm not even 40 yet. And I don't want it's the price of my arm is what it came down to for me. How much am I getting paid for this fight? And how much is it worth for me to be able to lift my arm and use my arm for what's left of my life? And some people say, well, go out there and just lose the arm and sacrifice it for the fight or whatever, but I just didn't see the money being worth it. Maybe my arm would have been worth a few million more. Maybe, I don't know. But what I'm getting, it wasn't worth losing the use of my arm. It's not like my arm's going to fall off, but it stops working. And better than anybody, Bisping, because I sit next to you in these broadcasts and you have a lot of pain from just fighting to the death all the time. And I want to be able to use my body to still train if I want to. I want to be able to hit the bag. I want to be able to run. I want to be able to throw something. I want to be able to grapple a little bit light if I want to. I think going live and just going crazy and doing tournaments and stuff is going to be out the window because the shoulder, if it's coming out in practice, I can't really probably compete with it anymore. But I could still train, teach, and give back to the sport. So that's what made me halt it. And sorry, Rob Font, because I hate to do that to him on 3 weeks notice or whatever too. It's not, as an opponent that no true fighter wants to pull out and do that. So that's a humbling experience again. That sucks. I let down, how it is, like as fighters, we kind of look at ourselves and it's like I kind of let down fans and people in that notion. But I did give everything I have and I'm positive of that. So I'm not too hard on myself, to be honest, because, I went to the wheels fell off. The wheel literally fell off. It's had enough. And that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean, and Dom, it's not like it's the first time that you've had to battle through these setbacks and injuries in your career. We've seen you go through even crazier injuries, come back and retain the belt again. And when you look back, Dom, on this career, when I saw that the retirement was announced and I messaged you and everything, dude, like you're a guy that I've watched from before I even was really a professional. That's how long you're in this sport. And I'm even slightly older than you, which is crazy. But when you look back from the WEC days to the UFC to the really terrible knee injuries and coming back on that, when you look back at the career, Dom, what are some big things that you will always kind of sit and remember as the fondest memories of your career? If anything sticks out that you just, I'll never forget this moment, whether it's winning the belt, a WEC moment, or that first fight back after a long layoff. What sticks out in that just an outstanding career, my man?
Well, three things. One, this situation with my shoulder was much different than the other ones because the time. I'm younger when I hurt myself there. Yeah. So this is probably another year of, if they go, depending on what the MRI says, another year of work. And by that point, I'm older than I was. So that's why it's different. But the thing that I look back at that I can be most proud of is probably just all the people that said that I couldn't do it. And I just want to remind everybody because it's quickly forgotten. And because they have so many fights. I mean, you have 2 fights a week sometimes. So you got to promote those guys as the best fighters on earth every time you talk about them, because that's how you get money in the business. So things like that get forgotten, that the things that I did, nobody gave me a chance. I was the underdog. When I fought TJ Dillashaw, he was supposed to be the younger, better version that had, everything faster and all this. And I'd been laid off and it was impossible. And nobody had ever come back from 3 ACL knee reconstructions plus a torn quad. Nobody had ever gone through that plus the 10 hand surgeries. Nobody had ever gone through that. Ring rust is so real. There's just no way you're going to be sloppy. And also the Mizugaki fight. This is what I heard before the Mizugaki fight. And then I came back and beat him in a minute. That was one of my best fights ever in my career. And reflecting on that, I learned when I kind of said, I'm not supposed to do this anyways. So I'm just going to go out there and have fun. And I ended up having one of the best show ups of my life. And that's what I taught myself, is that, like, man, you can't listen to what everybody says, because they don't know, because they haven't done the work. So they don't actually know what they're even capable of. That's the reason why we do sport, because it's to show people who are naysayers, who say ring rust exists, who says you can't do something. We are here, you, Felder, me, we are here to show them that, hey, you don't trust yourself. I'll show you what trusting yourself looks like. And I went out there and did that. And then after that, I blew my knee out again, had another year layoff, and then had to fight TJ after that 9-month, 12-month layoff while on antidepressants. My whole life fell apart. So I learned that the impossible things are very, very possible if you trust yourself. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I made things that everybody told me were impossible. I showed myself that they'll never admit it, but you should have believed in yourself, is what I would say to them. There's somewhere they didn't believe in themselves, and they thought I was them, and I'm fucking not.
It's beautiful words, Dom. And I'm sitting here and I'm listening intently. Everything that you're saying is resonating with me. And like, it makes me a little emotional, if I'm honest, because it's this sport it gives so much, right? It's changed all of our lives, but it takes a lot away as well. I mean, obviously I've had my fair share of injuries, but you have been inspirational, Dom. I'm not trying to sit here and kiss your ass. Let's just have it right. I mean, you went away.
Don't do that. I believe.
You came back, beat TJ Dillashaw, beat Demetrius Johnson. You've been in there with the best of the best your whole career. So if nothing else, Dom, at the end of it all, I hope you're proud of what you did, what you achieved, the people that you inspired. You had your own original style. You were one of the first people to implement like really complicated, tricky foot movement and evasive skills. You always had a really high fight IQ. You always approached it from a very analytical standpoint as well, much like your commentary. Just congrats on an incredible career, Dom. And I truly, and I was really sad for you, man. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
I was gutted for you.
I was ready, honestly, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have accepted it if I didn't truly believe that I was going to go out there and do my job at the highest level of where I'm at. So yeah, it was shocking for me too. I didn't expect that to happen. It's not the way I slotted it, but none of my career has been that way. That's another thing to learn. I didn't expect that I would be, Dana says every time, he's the most injured guy that there is. I didn't expect that was going to be part of my championship story that inspires people. Like, yeah, how many times do you hear somebody say, yeah, I was going to get a scholarship, but I twisted my ankle. And that was it. Like, that was literally it in high school. Like, I twisted my ankle in high school too, broke my elbow, all these things, right? We all do. So if anything, what I didn't know is I was so tough that this is what the journey was going to be for me, is all the hard, taking all the advantages away and seeing if I could still do it. And the advantage is being healthy. It took all those things away from me on many occasions for many years of my prime. And I still came out and fought the top 2 in the whole world and won. And it's not bragging. It's just like, these are the things that were impossible. People were telling me that I consistently had to not believe them and black them out. And that's what I can give myself kudos for, is not believing them at the stipulations that they set for themselves, that being media, that being people who talk shit in the fan bases. When people say it can't be done, man, just show them that they don't believe in themselves. It's not really you.
This episode is sponsored by Unbound Merino. Unbound Merino was created by 3 lifelong friends who were looking to solve the age-old problem of how to pack lightly, but also look great when jet setting. And now, if you're looking for clothing that is nice, that is made from beautiful fabrics, we're talking about wool, but you want to look cool, then that is where Unbound Merino comes in. They offer timeless, versatile clothing that will keep you looking great in any situation. Their clothing is made of merino wool, which is temperature regulating, moisture wicking, and most importantly, super comfortable. They sent me a few of the products. They're awesome. They look great. They fit great. And you look very sharp. They're super stylish. And as I said, the fabrics are second to none. Unbound makes it simple to pack for short or long trips, since their clothes can be worn for weeks on end without needing a wash. With Unbound's versatile pieces, you can go from the plane to outdoor adventures to that swanky dinner without the headache of overpacking or needing to change outfits for every leg of your journey. Unbound's clothing allows travelers to pack lighter, save on checked baggage fees, and spend more time focusing on creating travel memories. Right now, go to the website unboundmerino.com, where new customers can use the code BELIEVE for 15% off the order. Unboundmerino.com, use the code BELIEVE, 15% off.
And you know, now that you're sitting here fresh off of knowing that you're going to hang up the gloves and you're going to call it a day, what makes Dominick Cruz happy now moving forward? What are some things that now that maybe when the fighting is finally put to the backseat officially, right? Even though you've overcome a lot of stuff and you've had a lot of long layoffs and but it's always been to get back to still compete. Now that you know that moving forward, you don't want to do that. Obviously, sitting and doing commentary, obviously you're already established in that, and we love having you around, and I can't wait to work with you again. But moving forward, what are some other things that maybe weren't able to be at the forefront because of fighting, and now maybe open up opportunities for you?
It's a great question, Felder, and I think you're asking it because you're in it too. You know, you're going through it too. It's like, and I can look at both of you guys and see myself in a lot of different ways, because you guys have done this a little longer than me. I'm kind of new to the whole don't need to be in shape for anything phase. And
So hold on. So we're going to get a fat Dominick Cruz?
no, I'm not saying that.
Oh man.
Well,
because Dom makes me feel terrible when we're getting changed. Paul, he's walking around, he's got his shirt off, he's got the six pack. I'm like, put a shirt on, you prick.
Well, I want to stay healthy. That's part of the reason why I'm stopping now. Like some people say, oh, all this, you're talking about it being impossible, and here you are stopping. Well, I mean, you got to stop eventually, right? Like age is real. And so with my age and the injury, it's different than when I was younger trying to do it with the injury. So yeah, like Cruise With Me, a podcast, give back. You know, first you fight, then you teach, then you heal. That's the martial arts way. I feel like I'm in the teach and heal phase of my martial arts career. It doesn't just end. And teach and heal means, you know, that's what I'm doing with the analyst role. I take it very seriously because I've been that guy on the other side that the commentators are talking about. And I'm not trying to hate, but sometimes they don't know what I'm doing. And it's like, you just go back and watch a little bit of film, maybe you would know. So that inspired me to want to go back and do that for the up and coming athletes. That's why I take it serious, because I felt the other side of it, where people, you know, there's a lot of power in that. So I try to do my best to give back to the athletes. That's another way of like giving. It's just, I think that it's kind of like having a big eclipse in front of the sun, right? Where you see the sun poking out, but it's covered. Fighting has been covering it. Fighting has been blocking out whatever extracurricular activities I could be doing, I want to be doing. I think that I have no doubt the opportunities are there. I don't know. I'm not going to like pinpoint them and box them up. I'm going to stay open to the endless possibilities of it and see what happens when that moves out of the way of the sun, right? What kind of light comes to place, what kind of things I see, what kind of opportunities come. Been getting so much love and respect from fellow, not just fighters, but, you know, fans. And it's been overwhelming support and love, and you guys too. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. What everybody said about me has been really amazing. It's just overwhelming support. So I'm just grateful right now and moving one day at a time, feeling all the emotions of, there's a little bit of, you know, when you like, if somebody passes away in your life, it kind of feels like that. It's just mourning. But at the same time, there's a lot of joy that comes, you know, because a lot of the things that you know, when I read certain things, one of the things I've heard is, you know, mourning is really just masked joy, because when you're mourning, you're actually remembering all the things that were great and amazing.
Yeah.
It's not actually really sad. It's almost like joy. That is the morning itself. And so I'm kind of looking at it that way too, because I'm just sad that I can't go do it again, when really I'm sad that how much I loved it. It just shows how much of my heart it is. And that's a special thing. Not a lot of people ever get to love something that much. So I'm grateful for that too.
Tell you what, Dom, listening to you speak there, when you start this Cruise With Me podcast, all of my subscribers and all our believers and followers better not piss off and listen to you, because you speak so eloquently and you're really setting the tale there and setting the scene. It's beautiful. Whenever you stop a fighting career, you know, fighters, when they've got it's terrifying, you know, because you do think, what is next? You know, but you still, what are you, 37, 38?
I'll be 40 March 9th.
40 in March. That's still only at the midpoint of life, you know, and it's like you've got a whole other career. But it's hard when we're fighting, because you got to have the blinkers on. It's got to be, you know, single-minded approach to this one thing. Otherwise, you're not going to get the success that either of us got. You've got to be all in. But there is a whole other life out there. I was terrified. That's why I continued fighting when I was still injured, and the eye issues and all the rest of it. But when you allow yourself to step away, you realize, hold on, there is other things out there. There is other things I can accomplish. And certainly somebody like yourself that's articulate, that's a smart, that has the legendary career, the following, the coaching roles that you could have, the podcast, the analytic work, the commentary. I mean, you're going to be a very, very busy man. So congrats. If you had to pick one fight, the one highlight of your career, what was the best one? I think I'm gonna guess. Paul, what's your guess? I'm gonna go when you come back and beat TJ Dillashaw. Paul, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be up there when everyone doubted. And I actually fought on that card with Dom, and we shared a rice cake with honey on it on the bus ride after the weigh-ins, Dom. I'll never forget that. I was sitting across from you, and at the time I was looking at you still like, oh man, you know, like I watched WEC, this guy's fighting for belts, and I'm sitting right next to him on the bus. I was early on the prelims, and without even hesitation, he starts snacking on a rice cake because he just got done weigh-ins, and we're refueling on the bus. And sure as shit, he reaches over and shares it with this guy that he doesn't know from anybody, and had a little chat and ate some rice cakes with Dom. So that one always sticks out to me because I got to share that one, and then be in the back room and rooting hard for Dom on that night because of that moment.
Well, I was always a fan of your Muay Thai because your fights, you just laid it all out. You were one of those guys who fought like to the death type of style. So I was a fan. So you weren't nobody to me, bro. Trust me. So it was my pleasure to share that moment. And yeah, I would agree with Bisping. You know, it's a mixture. If I'll be honest, it's hard to say this, but it really is like anytime I beat anybody from Alpha Male, it felt like
I was going to say that.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say you're right.
Like any of them, like Benavidez, I fought twice. Ian McCall was alpha male. Charlie Valencia was alpha male. Uriah Faber was alpha male. TJ Dillashaw was alpha male. Cody Garbrandt was alpha male. All these guys, he kept shooting them at me. And I knew, I felt like they were just after me, and it was me versus them for so many years that anytime I would always say to myself, why join him if you could beat him? And that was like my mentality with that team, because they were the best team. They made me what I was to an extent because the rivalry was so heavy. I just had to do everything. They were so good, all of them. At this time, they were the best little guy team there was when I was fighting, other than what I was doing in my team at Alliance. So any of those guys was a cherry on top to beat them because of how good they were and how competitive they were. But yeah, TJ Dillashaw was number one because he was so arrogant, like beyond arrogant. And it drove me crazy because it's just like, hey, I'm as tough. I'm a champion too, and I don't act like a dork like you. And it just pissed me off. So I had to win that. And after the layoff and listening to all the media, I'm telling you, I had no chance if you ask media. So I'll never forget, hey, media, don't forget that you drew the line for yourself behind the camera. It wasn't real. I'm going to take you back and remind you, you didn't know shit.
Yeah, yeah, and the media often gets it wrong. Dana White had a problem with the Australian media. We're going to get to that a little bit later. All right, this episode is sponsored by Hims. Are you getting a little bold on top? Are you follically challenged? Are you blinding people with the reflection of your sun from the top of your dome? If you're going a little thin on top, you don't have to jump on a plane to Turkey to get the hair transplants, okay? No, you just need Hims. It's as simple as that. It will regrow your hair. It will make you fuller, more attractive, more vibrant, more attractive to the opposite sex. You'll be going down the barbers every few weeks because the hair will be out of control. Of course, I'm going a little bit silly there, but Hims will provide you with convenient and quality access to a range of hair loss treatments that actually work from the comfort of your couch. Hims makes treating hair loss simple with doctor-trusted options and clinically proven ingredients like finasteride and minoxidil that can regrow your hair in as little as 3 to 6 months. Choose from personalized chewable, oral spray, and serum treatments to find what works best for you. The process is simple and 100% online and no uncomfortable doctor visits. Answer a few questions and a medical provider will determine if treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your treatment is sent directly to you for free. No insurance needed. One low price covers everything from treatments to the ongoing care. Hims has hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers and they can help you get your confidence back with visibly thicker and fuller hair. So start your free online visit today at hims.com/believe. That is HIMS, hims.com/believe for your personalized hair loss treatment options. Hims.com/believe. Results vary based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil and finasteride. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. We've got to stop this little circle jerk here because this is not what people expect from us. Okay, three tough guys. Me and you are always arguing. We're all sitting there jerking each other off and saying, "You're the best. You're incredible. This was great." Sharing rice cakes on a bus. Let's get back to the bullshit. Hey, honestly, on behalf
With
of
honey
everyone,
on it.
I think I speak for everyone. Seriously, Dominic, be proud of yourself. Just an incredible career. I want to ask if you've still got a few more minutes. Dricus Du Plessis, Sean Strickland at the weekend. We got to get into this stuff. And yeah, I'd love to get your thoughts on that fight before we let you go.
Yeah, the Sean Strickland DDP fight was awesome. I think from my analytical approach to it, I think, you see what everybody's. One of the main things I'm seeing about DDP is he's winning again, and everybody goes, "I don't know how he ever wins." It looks so ugly, and then they've got this whole clip of him looking bad in these fights, and it's like, man, if I had a penny for every time somebody said that about me, I'd be rich. And when I watch him, what makes him so tough is not just the offense and the strength, his power, but also he's off balancing his opponent the whole fight. And Sean Strickland is one of the best balanced fighters in the division, and he was not on balance for any of that fight. He was on his back foot trying to figure out where he's going. Du Plessis would crash into him so much with just like headbutts to his chest and his hips. And those are shot attempts. And those are things that I really pride myself on, that you don't need to complete the shot. You just need to attempt it and attack and hit them hard to create a break in rhythm and to off balance. And I think DDP does that better than anybody right now, obviously, because he keeps winning. And I think that's what people are missing, is the way he takes away your balance with the mixture of attacks. His left high kick is epic. The way he kept landing that is not on accident. It's got like a question mark touch to it, and then sometimes it comes straight up, and he sets it up by blasting the liver the entire fight. And the stance switch hides it as well. These are all very sneaky tactics that he uses that people aren't giving credit to, and he's used them in the last 3 fights consistently. These are his habits, and people aren't quite adjusting. So I tip my hat to him, because Strickland is not an easy guy to beat. That's the other thing you keep hearing. Strickland's not who he says he is. He didn't go to the death. I disagree. I think, when you see this dude's nose explode before the fight's over and he keeps fighting, I think that people underestimate the level of pain that actually is, and how much it throws you off. I mean, it takes me back to the Justin Gaethje versus Holloway fight. Justin Gaethje is easily one of the toughest guys in the whole planet. Everybody knows it, and that threw him off. Felder, you've broken your arm in the middle of a fight. I've broken my hands in the middle of fights. I don't think people at home really give dividend to Strickland for the toughness that he showed against him twice. And in these fights, it wasn't easy to do what he did. Now, people are going to bash him because he talks heavy. So that's what that's more about, I feel like. But, you know, I tip my hat to both guys. It was a very technical battle. But DDP just, I think those are the things that people are missing from when I watch it. And full credit.
And there he
Dom,
is,
do you-
one of the best
do you-
analysts. Oh, go on, Paul. Sorry, mate.
No, yeah, I was just going to say, do you think DDP, with the style that he brings and the way that he is just riding confidence right now, if it's Khamzat next and everyone's so high on Khamzat, what do you think about that matchup real quick? I mean, DDP seems to not be afraid of that matchup whatsoever. And he says that he even thinks that he can match him in the wrestling. And I don't know, man, he's so functionally awkward. Let's call it that, functionally awkward, because it is so strategic in his own way. You know what I mean? Similar to how you talk about your footwork, where you talked about people saying, oh, he's not doing anything right. It's like, no, he's doing it his way that works for him. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's how I see it. He's working things his way that works for him. And you got to start paying attention instead of bashing. Like, instead of like saying, hey, this doesn't work, it looks like shit. It's like, what's he doing right? Why is it keep working? There's something there. And like I said, it's the balance thing, him breaking his opponent's balance. And don't forget, he has like over 30, almost, I think 26 pro kickboxing fights. I think he was like 26-1 or something like that. I don't remember his exact record, but way over a winning record in pure kickboxing with no grappling. Now, if we match up the Khamzat, like you're saying, the intangibles are that Khamzat's coming up, and DDP is a true 205er. 85er, right? Like, he's just giant for the weight. And I think he would have the size to make the fight very speculative on the grappling for Khamzat because of the size. Now, if he was like exactly the same size, then Khamzat would just be a steamroll like everybody else. Because he's got that size, you know, that's why we cut weight. For anybody at home that doesn't understand, that little bit of advantage of having a little bit more size, it truly makes an enormous difference in the grappling. 10 pounds from 135 to 145, that's all the weight classes. 125 to 135, that 10 pounds changes everything. I basically created the 125-pound division because they're like, all right, we're going to have to move these guys down. They're not quite strong enough with the grappling. That's what I could see DDP doing to Khamzat as well. Stuff in the grappling because of the size, being able to keep it a sprawl and brawl, Chuck Liddell style fight with his own style, right? What I mean by Chuck Liddell is Chuck Liddell just stuffed the takedowns and kept it standing and looked for the knockout all the time. So I could see him doing that. But also, why this fight is being talked about is because you could see Khamzat doing what he's done to everybody too. How much weight can he actually put on? Like, how big can he actually get? Have we seen that? And he looked better in his last fight than he's looked in any of his past fights. So he's still improving. And I think that the layoff that Khamzat has had in between fights, I think people also underestimate that. Like I said, I don't believe ring rust exists if you train right. And I believe he trains super duper hard, and that's why he's hurt a lot. But it's also why I think ring rust wouldn't exist for him if he gets in there, because he's going to test himself to the bitter end. And that keeps him hidden as well. The layoff, a year, 6 months, 8 months not fighting. That's like, if I go back and try to watch film, I don't know what I'm watching anymore because it's been 8 months to a year. So you just have no idea. Is he better? Is he worse? Did he fill gaps? Did he not? That's also an intangible for Khamzat. So all these different things make it a very fun, fascinating fight. I would also love to see Pereira. He's just the man. Yeah. The thing that I love most about Pereira, number one, is he got knocked out by Izzy and then went on this crazy streak like it didn't even faze him. That was absolutely inspirational to me, how he's been carrying himself after that knockout. Like, that's one of the hardest things you look at the history on average of anybody who gets knocked out and what their record looks like after. Not very many people look like Pereira. He's also doing the things that people would say are impossible. So I would love to see that fight as well. DDP and Pereira is epic. Better than John Jones Pereira, in my opinion.
Well, you have done the impossible time after time after time, Dom. And I truly mean that. So we'll have to let you go. The Cruise With Me podcast, when does that kick off?
I'll be getting it going within the next month. This month, I'm still, dialing everything in. I don't want to say until it's ready.
Well, if you want a cocky Englishman to jump on any time,
you're on. You better
just give me a shout, buddy.
Guest is the question. It might have to be my guy Bisping. That might be the number one guy. Who knows?
Let's go. Let's go. Right, Dom, I know you've got a ton of interviews to do. Congrats on an incredible career. And don't you worry. I'll be seeing that you will fight soon, and I will be. We won't be circle jerking anymore. We'll be going back to talk yet and pissing each other off.
It's fun,
Dom,
man. Love working with you guys. Love you guys. Thank you.
Take care. Take care.
Thanks, man. Congrats, dude.
All right, this episode is brought to you by Mando.com. Okay, look, listen, are you going out for a date, but you don't want to be smelly? Do you need the confidence to be able to woo the significant other with the charisma that you have? Yes, you probably already have that, but you don't want to be smelly. You don't want to be sweaty. You don't want to be stinking of body deodorant. Body odor, BO, never a good look. Well, that's where Mando comes in. Whole body deodorant, which is safe to use everywhere, from the thigh folds to the belly buttons, the butt cracks, and your feet. Created by a doctor who saw firsthand how BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. It's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. Now, Mando deodorant products, they've got a whole variety. They've got the solid stick deodorant, formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts. There's a spray deodorant, aluminium free and ideal for those hard to reach places. All products baking soda free and paraben free as well. And as I said, clinically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone. 12 hours after a shower, people were still smelling fantastic. So if you want to try America's #1 whole body deodorant formula right now, you can find them in Walmart, Target, and other retailers across the country. But we have an offer. Mando Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. And as a special offer for our listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with the exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack when you use the code BISPING at shopmando.com. Smell great. Feel amazing. Woo anybody you want. Have your natural charisma. Go to shopmando.com. Use the code BISPING for $5 off. I said that, I was getting a bit emotional. It's like the way he was like setting the scene though. I was like, fuck, man. He did a really good job, and it brings you back. And it is an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, it's just crazy too, because, when we all started doing this job together, we were all fighting. You were still fighting, right? When you started doing color, you were still fighting, right? Or were you done when you started?
No. When I was doing color, no. I had to come up the long way. Took me a long time for them to release me on a microphone.
But it's crazy, right? Because, well, at least let's say when we were all doing desk or color, like we were all still active fighters. Tom's fighting. TC was even still fighting. I was still fighting. And now we're all done. There's no active fighters that are doing color commentary at all right now.
And they can all piss off if they want.
Yeah, we don't want it anymore. We don't want it anymore.
They don't want it. They're all talking shit. Oh, I think I might do commentary after this fight. So, no, you're not. And I tell you what, if you want my job, I will fight you for it. Anyway.
I'll come out of retirement.
100%. So I'm still in Sydney. Rebecca's still in bed over there, just off the angle. You can't see her. Babe, at some point, you got to get in the shower, because when I'm done with the podcast, we're going out. We're not just shimmy past in the background. So at the hotel we're at, we changed hotels. And yesterday, we got out for breakfast. For lunch. And we walk in. Who's that? Dricus Du Plessis. The chat.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So we sat down and we were chatting for a while. The nicest guy. I mean, because obviously we've spoken around the UFC stuff. He was there with his beautiful, I think it might be his fiance, girlfriend, wife, whichever one. I apologize. She was so friendly, chatting away to Rebecca. And obviously he's in high spirits, right? He's just defended the belt. He's having a well-deserved beer. He's enjoying himself. And his whole energy and vibe It was awesome. And I was talking to him about the fight. And he was like, he said, when he was in there and he broke Strickland's nose, he said he hit him and he saw his nose go like this. And he saw Sean trying to straighten it, but he was pushing it the wrong way. And he was like, brother, you're pushing it the wrong way. What are you doing? Oh man, congrats.
I saw that there was a clip of them backstage, and Dricuss was even saying that to him. They were, to their credit, him and Sean, just being sportsmen about it. And Sean was talking about it, and Dricuss was saying that to him. He's like, I saw you trying to push it, and I almost wanted to be like, dude, other way, bro. You're going the wrong way. He is an awesome dude, man. I remember when he made his debut, we were on Fight Island doing stuff way back during the pandemic, and I got to meet him and his team when we were in Garage Bar. I don't know if you remember Garage Bar.
I do not.
Yeah, you don't remember that? That was like the main spot that everyone ate at in the W Hotel that we were at in Abu Dhabi. And he was down there with his team. He was just beyond respectful. And at that time, he was, nobody yet. And to see where he has come and defending the belt the way he has, yeah, he is a super chill guy. No doubt about it.
Yeah, no, of course. And we'll talk about the fight in a little bit and we'll go through the other action as well. Sean Strickland, let's talk about this. He's a showman. He talks a lot. He generates a lot of interest. I did an interview with him last week. It's got almost 1 million views. And let me tell you something. It would have got 3 million views if I put out the full thing. The amount that we had to edit out of that interview because of the craziness he was coming out with. And it's not because I'm some kind of censoring guy. It's like YouTube's so strict. They will not show it. They won't share it. They probably would have cancelled my channel, right? With all the shit that he was coming out with. But he does talk a lot, and now he's receiving a lot of criticism. I've seen a lot of videos online. MMA On Point did one all about it, being kind of harsh, saying, he promises to be one thing, but he certainly presents another thing. He doesn't fight dick to dick, nipple to nipple. He comes out and he always fights the same way. I will say, I've got a lot of good things to say. I guess the main negative is that he didn't change things up. He had to make a change in that fight, and he didn't. But first of all, what do you think? What is your statement regarding that? A lot of people saying, well, he says he's going to do this, and then he fights like that. What's your thoughts on that?
It's frustrating. It is, because as somebody who's met and hung out with Sean, and again, he's a polarizing character, but there's good in there, and he's not a terrible dude when you get to know him and you're in that circle. And also, from being somebody that's really close with Eric Nixick, who I'm watching, I'm actually even feeling more for Eric in those moments, because I'm watching his coach try to get him to do exactly what you're talking about, to be what he says he's going to be in that fight. Because to beat Dricus, you do have to go and be tip to tip. You know what I mean? You got to go in there and you got to be in his face and you got to be gritty and you got to change shit up. And he didn't do that round after round. And Eric was imploring him, please, you got to throw elbows. You got to throw knees. You got to throw that right hand, just the right hand. And then all the criticism, the jabs and the teeps, that's all we saw from him. So I think it's justified a little bit for people to be frustrated with a guy who says very outlandish things, sometimes very offensive things, and then you don't necessarily back that up to the death like you talk about. You don't have to fight to the death. You don't have to be that fighter to be a very talented fighter and to be a champion in the UFC. But sure as shit, if you're going to say all that stuff and you're going to try to piss people off, and then you don't adjust and then fight on the fly like that. Dom's right. He's tough as shit. There's no doubt about that. His nose was shattered off the side of his face, and he tried to set it back. He hung in there and took a lot of big shots. But for me as a fan and a fan of his coach that's sitting on the couch here on Saturday here on the East Coast while you guys are down there in Sydney, I was here with a couple of buddies like scratching my head. Like, what do you, I know you're better than this. I know you know how to wrestle. I know you know how to do something other than just throw teeps and jabs, man. He never opened up again. And now that might have been the last shot at ever having that belt.
Well, it certainly is in the near future. That's It's just a given. You've had 2 title fights out of your last 3. They're really hard to come by. You've been beaten by the same guy twice now. And that one, there's no discussion. It was a clear-cut decision for Dricuss. I remember Dricuss, oh, by the way, quick story here, and this is pretty cool, talking about breaking arms and Dom and the injuries and all the rest of it that we go through. Dricuss was talking about those front kicks. And he said he was blocking them kind of with his elbow or trying to parry them. And one of the front kicks hit his elbow because he showed me he had a big, massive swelling on his elbow. And he said he kicked my arm. And I thought, and you might have seen it actually last week or in the last couple of weeks, there was a video going around on social media in a regional MMA fight. Someone gets kicked and the arm snaps. Dricuss said he just seen that video and that was in his head. And when Sean kicked him, he thought, oh my God.
I broke my arm.
He's broken my arm. So he said what he did was he grabbed his wrist with his other arm because he thought the referee is going to stop this fight if my arm is broken. So he supported it with his other hand. And while they were doing that and Sean's like throwing jabs and stuff, he was testing his arm in his mind. You know what I mean? Just shows like what these fighters go through and what we go through and why they go through.
And what's not noticed on the team, like at home, right? Nobody's noticing that.
No one knows. He's testing his forearm out to make sure it's not snapped. And then he's like, yeah, I'm good. I can go back to actual fighting. It's
crazy.
Fucking crazy, isn't it, when nuts, you think about it, this sport?
It's nuts. And it's so true. And Dom touched on it when we were talking to him that there's those little things that people are just ragging on fighters and this and that. It's like, you have no idea what is going on. Because when I broke my forearm, all I noticed at first was I can't close my hand. And then when I got in between rounds in the corner, every time I did close my fist, I could feel a crunching sound. Like I couldn't feel a crunching sound. I could hear it and feel the bone because it was like this. So it was going like this as I was closing my hand, and I was like, "Oh God, that's not good." But similar to what Dricuss is doing, I didn't let on to it in the fight, and Mike Perry never knew about it, and that's just other athletics. Having done other sports now for fun, there's a lot of crazy intense sports out there, but I'm telling you, there is nothing like having to be that type of athlete while also literally being in the highest level fist fight in front of 15, 20,000 people and then millions around the world watching you. So
the champion of the world or the former champ is trying to kick your ass and you're dealing with an internal, is my arm broken or not?
Did I break my arm?
You're not bothered about that. You just don't want the referee to see it, you know? It's great. It was a great story. All right, this episode is sponsored by BetterHelp that will give you online therapy. So wherever you are in the world, no matter how busy you are, if you want to take time to work on yourself, to improve yourself, to rid yourself of some of the bad habits that maybe you recognize or that other people talk about. Maybe you're in a relationship and they're telling you, listen, you've got to figure this out. You've got to work on this. You're drinking too much. You're stressy. You're bad-tempered. You have anxiety. You're worrying too much. Whatever the thing is, BetterHelp can help you with that. Speaking to a professional therapist is going to help. And the best part is BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable and convenient and serving over 5 million people worldwide. Access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialities. And by the way, switch therapists at any time at no extra cost. So whatever it is, alcohol abuse, substance abuse, anger, anxiety, who knows, maybe you're going through something, maybe your girlfriend just left you, maybe someone, maybe there was a tragedy in your life and you need help. Be the best version of yourself for you, for your loved ones, for your children, for your wife. You deserve it. They deserve it. Give it a try. Take the first step. Go to betterhelp.com/believe to get 10% off your first month. Fully online, super convenient. Do it whenever you want from wherever you will be. betterhelp.com/believe to get 10% off your first month. BetterHelp, HELP.com/believe. The nose break, round 4, cracks him with the right hand. Sean's nose is clearly broken. Blood was just pissing out of it. I remember sitting there at one point and I could see like a stream of blood coming out of his nose. And I've seen people commending Sean. I've seen people talking shit about Sean because he was backing up and, well, broken noses are a part of the sport and stuff like that. And yeah, they are. And I've had my nose broken many, many times. But that was a particularly bad one in the moment. And he was backing up. Imagine you've got your nose snapped in one way. Dricus Du Plessis trying to tee off on it again. Of course, you're going to be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I got to say, I thought Sean showed a lot of balls. You know, he could have gone up against the fence like he did for a second, curled up in a ball, gone down. The referee, he could have let the referee stop the fight, but he didn't. He continued to fight. The fifth round as well, you know, he wasn't backing up the whole time. He had some moments, you know, when his nose is falling off his face. So yeah, he's a wild guy and maybe doesn't deliver on his promises, shall we say. But he showed some balls in there.
Bro, no doubt about it. And that's what I'm saying. I think that's why I get frustrated. I think that's why fans get frustrated, because he's clearly an elite tough. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no doubt that toughness is there. I just feel like there's a little block there for Sean for some reason that he can't seem to get out of that comfort rhythm. And I know Sean's a guy who spars so much and doesn't necessarily do as much of the other stuff. And I think this is just a theory, but maybe that's what's getting in his way a little bit, because he spars so much all the time in that same pattern and that same rhythm all the time that he can't seem to break down that wall. Do you know what I mean? That's what's frustrating. The toughness, you're right. For you to be able to snap your nose back in place and continue to fight through that with a guy like Dricus coming to break it again, no doubt he's got balls of steel to be in there like that.
Yeah,
and then to be a trooper afterwards, right? I mean, to be shaking his hand and be backstage and have a conversation with the guy. I think that's where we see the real Sean Strickland in moments like that. A lot of the other bullshit gets put to the forefront and people get so offended by what he's saying. And, you know, I get it. He says some outrageous things, and I get why people get upset with him. But you can see who he is inside in those moments right there. It's just, he loves to say outlandish shit.
Yeah, well, he's a fun guy, right? You know when Sean Strickland walks in the room, okay? Yeah, it says offensive shit. Yeah, it says stuff that you might not agree with. But I'd rather the sport be filled with personalities like that. You know what I mean? Because you don't have to agree with everything. And if you get offended, so what? Grow up, grow a pair. I loved the interaction backstage when they were, you know, talking and chatting away, and it's all done. It's just beautiful, man. It is. So Khamzat Chimaev probably next. I missed it on commentary because I was doing something. You know how it is, like you look away or the producer's talking to you or whatever. What happened between Dricus and Pereira? What did Dricus say to Pereira?
I don't know. I missed it too. I just know that when he went over and he was shaking everybody's hands in the corner of Strickland, that Pereira was just kind of just mean mugging off to the side, and like there was no interaction between those two. And apparently Pereira hates him. I don't know where that really comes from, but they don't seem to like each other too much.
That Pereira has a deep hatred in his heart for Dricus. And Dricus was telling me that last night. He said he could tell he was saying something in Portuguese, and he's like, I don't get it. He said, but he could tell whatever it was that he was saying, it wasn't nice. Very nice, you know. Yeah. And I tell you what, I mean, Pereira's he's just a killer, man. If you wanted to cast a murderer, an evil, a bad guy in a movie, look no further, right? Thursday night, I went out for dinner with Rebecca. We're walking back to the hotel. He's standing outside the front of the hotel with his translator, trainer, manager, whatever. You know who I'm talking about, Cruz.
Cruz, yeah.
Yeah, I'm walking over. I see him there. I'm like, hey, champ, good to see you. Shook his hand. He just looked at me like he wanted to kill me, right? Yes, and I was like, maybe he'd seen some of my analysis or something and didn't like it. And then I shook his translator's hand, and his translator, he's like, oh, firm handshake. I'm like a little shit talky as well. I'm like, what's going on, boys? I'm off to bed. Don't beat the out of me.
Yeah, geez. You know, I had the same interaction with him when we were in Brazil. He was there as a guest fighter in Rio. And same thing. He was there. He was sitting by himself having a coffee in the hotel lobby. And I was like, I feel like I gotta go say hi to Pereira and just say what's up. I said the same thing. Hey, champ, shook his hand. I didn't even get a shama.
A
You know what I mean? I didn't even get a
Come on.
shama. Come on. Like,
Come on. Right. So, Harrington. So I'll pull the curtain back a little bit. I'm in Sydney. Wi-Fi's great. I've got a good image, but for some reason, normally we record the show on StreamYard. It wouldn't allow me to see you guys and stuff like that. So now we're doing it through Chrome. So it's a bit of an issue for Harrington and Brian to be on the screen at the moment, but we can have their audio. Harrington and Brian, are you lurking in the background like a couple of ghosts?
Yeah, we're hanging.
Sure am.
Oh, which way is it hanging?
A little to the left.
A little to the left. Brian, are you there? The voice of God?
I sure am.
Oh, there we are. Now it's a show. Harrington, any thoughts, anything we need to talk about on the main event before we move on? We've got a lot to talk about, and we apologize if this show goes out late. It might not, because Brian's a genius, but if it goes out a little bit late, it's because I was dicking around for about an hour and a half trying to sort this issue out. Main event stuff, Harrington, anything we need to get to?
Well, the only thing, I know you guys were just talking about Pereira. I'm sorry, my baby was going crazy in the other room, so I had to run out. But did you guys cover that in the post-fight presser? He did say that it's Khamzat before he can go up to 205 and take care of his business there.
Yeah, no, thanks, Harrington. Yeah, we were just kind of touching on that. But the fact that he said that, you've got to respect.
That.
Love it.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
Of course you want to step up to 205, not risk your belt, fight Pereira, gigantic payday, make millions of dollars in that fight. But he wants Khamzat. He wants the bogeyman. He wants the guy that just destroyed Robert Whittaker. And I tell you what, if I'm Khamzat, I wouldn't be quite so sure. I'm not saying that Khamzat isn't incredible, but against Usman and against Gilbert Burns, he wasn't able to have his way. And it's a broken record at this point where you get him outside of the first round. Yeah. And things start to change. And Dricus is as big and as strong and as resilient as they come. I did an interview with him on Tuesday. He was 215 pounds on the Tuesday before the weight cut. He's a big 185er.
Damn. Yeah. I mean, you weren't kidding. I saw some of the posts and things, and you were like, this guy is making me look small, and I'm not
small.
Me
look tiny.
And you're what? You said you were 2 something right then.
Well, I was 222 then. Given the last few days, 227, I'd say.
Yeah. And he is massive. He is massive. And I got to say, I love to hear that from a champion, right? That you want the next contender in line, that you want to prove that you deserve that jump up a weight class. And we've talked about it before, where a lot of these young guys, they get the belt, they only defend it maybe one time or don't even defend it, and they want to jump and pull the Conor McGregor and go be a double champ. And it's like, listen, we've seen that. That's old news now for guys to do that. So you got to really earn it at this point. Early on when guys were doing that, it was fresh. We hadn't seen it before. But now it's like, let's clear out the division. If there are true contenders in front of you, you should go and make your money, make your pay-per-view money, go beat those dudes, make sure your legacy is cemented in your weight class, then go up. And I love to see that from a guy like Dricus, that he's not shying away from Khamzat. He talked about Imavov also being in the title picture, talked about just the landscape of 185 and how it is and how it's shifting towards these new contenders. And that's what you want to see from your champion. And I'm sure the UFC loves to see that as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because the last thing they want is a champion going, oh, I don't know about Khamzat. Maybe he's got to prove a few more. Maybe he's got to do this. He's like,
hate
nah,
that shit, dude.
Give him. I want it. I want to be the guy to beat him. Beautiful. Dricus, I couldn't be a bigger fan. We'll get into the Zhang Weili and some of the other fights in a minute, but let's break this up. Let's have a bit of silliness. Let's have a non-MMA. You were just saying when Cruz joined us, baby on the way. Congratulations to you and Christine. Unbelievable news. You say, is there a little part that you want a boy?
Of course, yeah. Even Christine was joking. She just had some more imaging to make sure everything's going well and everything's great. And it's so funny what your mind will tell itself, right? Because she wants a boy as well. She wanted a boy, I think, even first before we had Ashling years ago, 9 years ago now. And she's like, when it was moving around on the imaging, I could have sworn and I'm like, babe, there's no way at where you are in pregnancy that you are seeing a baby penis. I'm just telling you now, that's not what you saw. Not
you still can't see Harrington's penis, and he's 40 years old. Sometimes it's not possible.
Man,
In fact,
Harrington, you're not even on screen, and you're getting it today, baby.
Yeah, I know. Come on, Harrington, jump on, buddy. Unmute yourself.
I mean, one legendary Felder baby penis on the way, apparently. If you can say that early.
I don't know where the genetics are coming from, but I'll take it.
Let me just ask Rebecca, because she fancies herself as somewhat of an expert on babies, just like all mothers do. But Rebecca, is there any way of telling the sex? I know in England they used to have this stupid thing where they would put, I think it was like a coin or a ring on a piece of cotton, and whichever way it spun round, if it went clockwise, you were going to get a boy. If it went the other way, you're going to get a girl, which is absolute utter bullshit. But babe, what do you think? How many weeks?
We're entering the second trimester now.
Second trimester?
August. We're due, Rebecca, we're due August 22nd, I think.
To the untrained eye, no.
Of course.
But technically, yes.
To the untrained eye, no, but technically, yes. So maybe you can see the penis. Maybe it's going to be the most well-endowed little boy that the world has ever seen.
Let's go. Who's the father? Who's the father?
I'm sorry. I'm making jokes about. I'm sorry, dude. That's very.
It's going to be a girl. It's going to be a girl.
It's going to be a girl.
We all know it. It's another girl.
Yeah. Well, anyway, mate, and that's amazing news. Congrats to you all. No doubt the kids are excited as well. All right, this episode is sponsored by Beam. So, do you suffer with low energy throughout the day? Sometimes you can't focus, you can't think, you can't be bothered. General feelings of fatigue, maybe you're stressed out, you can't focus. Well, that's maybe because you're not getting the required nutrition in your diet. It's hard to get all the fruits and vegetables involved in your life, and taking them sometimes they're not the most enjoyable. Well, that's where Beam Greens comes in, a comprehensive blend for foundational nutrition packed with 14 essential greens. Beam Greens was recently rated the #1 best-selling greens powder by the New York Post, and it is delicious. The unique blend contains wheatgrass, chlorella, and kale, plus mushrooms, adaptogens, and antioxidants. It helps to address nutrient gaps and supports immune function and overall health. And Beam Greens taste like a strawberry kiwi dessert, making it possible to actually enjoy getting your daily greens. Just mix it with a bit of water, shoot it down. It does taste delicious, and off you pop, living your best life. So the best part about it is that Beam is offering my listeners up to 40% off when you visit shopbeam.com/believe and you use the code BELIEVE at checkout. Get your greens by heading over to shopbeam.com/believe. Enter the code BELIEVE at checkout. That is shopbeam.com/believe. Use the code BELIEVE for up to 40% off. Harrington, give us a non-MMA story. What have you got?
Okay, so for non-MMA, you said you wanted to keep it light and fun, right?
I mean, yeah, we want to have a laugh.
Okay, so how about this one? An artist managed to collect an insane $18,000 for sale of a sculpture. Happens every day in the art world. The only problem, this sculpture is completely invisible, and some would say does not exist.
Wow.
Hold on.
So you bought the box that it's sitting on, basically. You bought the box. You bought a box.
There's just nothing there. 18 grand.
It blows my mind.
Necessarily with the person that did this.
Good on him. Yeah.
That guy's a goddamn genius. But the dickhead that was standing there going, oh, yeah, I get it. It's all open to interpretation. It's how you see the artistic visualization in your mind. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Who do I make the check out to? You, sir, are a total dickhead. And I cannot wait for you to display that in your house, in your mansion, and all you little dickhead, douchebag, artsy-farty knobheads that come round and stand there and look at nothing and all admire it.
Wait. I just made one right here. Can you see it?
Oh, mate. Whoa. Good work, Paul.
Sell that shit.
Tell me about that.
Harrington, Brian, you're going to have to bleep this one out, though. It's a nude.
Oh, yeah. No,
you're going to have to bleep it out.
It's got a tiny
you're
penis.
Bleep it out. Yeah.
It's got a Felder penis. It's got a Harrington. Oh shit. I mean, it's crazy, man.
Oh man, how much? 18 grand?
18 grand.
Man, I got a 2-year-old and a 9-year-old that can create more art than that. I mean, come on, I should be making money.
I, I would love to
Jesus.
know, Harrington, do you have any more information? Because I didn't see that in the notes. Like, what is actually the gist? Like, what is his sales pitch there? Is it
What
or
do
is
you
it
get? So what do you get? Like if you're buying a sculpture, you get the sculpture and it comes and it's packaged and it'll eventually be delivered to your house. But if you're buying an imaginary sculpture, do you even get the stand that's on in that presentation? You
It
even
says
get
here
that?
it comes with a certificate.
So you get a piece of paper.
Comes
of
with a,
authenticity?
It's like my degree. It's like my degree from University of the Arts that doesn't exist anymore because it closed down. So I mean, I got that piece of paper. It doesn't mean anything either.
It also comes with, this is fun. It also comes with installation instructions.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Gotta be careful.
Well, you got to
know?
build a sculpture. It's a how-to
Jesus.
project.
Jesus Christ. I mean, there's not much more we can go on with that one, Harrington. Thank you very much. But it did
That was
provide
good,
a
though.
little bit of
It was good.
light relief before we get into the domination of Zhang Weili, the world's finest strawweight, without a shadow of a doubt. One of the nicest people. She's awesome. She speaks English now. She resonates with everyone. She fights her goddamn ass off, dominated Tatiana Suarez after a tough opening round. I'm a massive fan of this woman.
Yeah. I kind of had a sneaky suspicion that this is how it was going to go, Michael. And that's why when we did the podcast leading up to it, that was my pick. And I was getting a lot of shit from friends and people that were like, oh, no. My one buddy that comes over, he likes to bet and do all kinds of stuff. He's like, no, this is a lock. Like the one pick on this card that I am so guaranteed on is Tatiana Suarez becoming the new UFC champion. And I even started doubting myself. Now, mind you, my friend Bill has no idea how to fight his way out of a wet paper bag, but he even had me doubting. I'm like, God damn, I'm seeing a lot of other analysts all picking Tatiana, and she's a favorite. But
I'm going to say Suarez was the favorite.
But I thought that the experience and the well-roundedness and the athleticism of Zhang Weili was going to be a problem. And ultimately, that is exactly what happened. She took her down early in the first round, was able to control her for that round. She dropped that round. But then from then on, once she got comfortable stuffing a few takedowns and started landing her strikes and using her movement and just being in phenomenal freaking shape because she trains her ass off for these fights, she looked fantastic. It was a wash. It was a great fight. And man, she's a dominant champion, and I like hearing talks of her eventually wanting to move up to maybe flyweight and taking on Valentina Shevchenko. She's earned that right. Maybe one more fight. I don't know. If she feels like there's other contenders that she can take out and make some money, go do it.
But Dana said he'll do it. He said if that's what they want, they
Why
will
not?
absolutely do it. Because I can't think of anybody at 115 that's now a clear-cut contender. She's been through all the big names now. She continues to get better. She's not a spring chicken either. You know, I think she's 35, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, I'm not saying she's old. I'm not saying she's, you know, coming to the end of her career. But, you know, if you're going to do some big, massive blockbuster fights, that is the biggest fight that you can do in women's mixed martial arts right now. Simple as that. I think that would be bigger than Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena if she was to come back, or Kayla Harrison. You know, I mean, I think right now Shevchenko and Zhang Weili with China, 1.4 billion people. Apparently she's got loads of big major like blue chip sponsors, like all the big corporations and stuff. I mean, 1.4 billion people. She is the face of MMA of the UFC in China. I mean, come on.
Yeah. No, and I agree. The time is now to make big moves like that and to take on another weight class champion. And like you said, time's not necessarily on your side, but she seems to be in her prime right now and riding the momentum. Go do it. I love watching her fight. She can do it all. She can do it all. She was out grappling her. She out grappled after that first round. She was just out everythinging her. And credit to Tatiana, she had that cut on her knee. That thing was freaking nasty, man. From when she ran into the cage on that one failed shot. That I know that, you know, she was trying not to let that bother her, but that thing was ugly.
Yeah, no, it was. Oh, it was a massive gash. Yeah. And it sucks because like shit like that just happens in fights. And sadly, you got to roll with the punches and go for it. So well done to her. Tatiana gave it a good go, but sadly wasn't enough for her.
She'll be back.
Real
She'll
quick.
be back.
Tarzan Tefera knocks out Justin Taffer, kicks him in the head. That gets blocked. Knees in the stomach, elbow in the face, drops down like a sack of potatoes. Then he kind of protested the stoppage. I thought that was a good stop.
Oh, you can't get hit with a clean shot and then go down to the can. And I like Tafa, but you can't go down to the mat and do this and not show that you're trying to get back up. That is exactly not intelligently defending yourself. That's exactly what the referees are that is what they're looking for. They're either looking for you to be unconscious or they're looking for you to not be answering shots at all and recognizing what's going on. This is exactly what happened. That was a great debut. That was a great debut from that guy.
Yeah. And well done to Jay Matthews. Of course, Jimmy Crew getting to another draw. I think that's 2 out of the last 3.
I know, dude. That sucked.
Poor guy. Because he's a nice guy as well, and he was away for a while, and he was going to retire, and then he took some time away, and he came back, and he was talking about finding God and stuff like that. Whatever empowers you, whatever you need, whatever helps you mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever. He had a good performance though. And he did win the first round 10-8, and I thought the next two, Bellator got it 10-9. So it made sense, but it just sucks. You work your ass off, you fight your goddamn heart out,
and then a draw. Yeah. It's so, and you even saw it on his face. He had his hand up. He thought maybe he got it, and then he kind of did the math real quick and was like, oh, it's a freaking draw. Yeah,
I know.
That sucks. It's never fun to get a draw. I've never had a draw. Never had a draw in a fight.
Me neither. Thank God.
Yeah.
Right, herringbone. I'm looking here at the notes. First time I've had a chance to look at what is going. I mean, I'm seeing some pretty wild stories. What's this about Kanye West on Twitter?
Oh, dude, bro,
what is he doing?
We gotta talk about this.
Set the scene. What is going? I've just saw the headline.
This is wild.
So
Harrington's got possibly the biggest story of the weekend, but I'll let you talk, Harrington.
Yeah, so Kanye came back to Twitter. He was famously banned for a while. Elon Musk kind of lifted all those bans from everyone. Kanye had not been tweeting, decided to go on a rampage starting on Friday. It was, just nonstop, all caps tweeting about any number of groups, right? Be it, the folks down in Israel, overweight women, you go through the list. He was taking shots at a lot of people, comedians, other rappers, et cetera, et cetera. He also updated his clothing line, Yeezy.com, with like a lot of shirts and apparel that had, swastikas and other stuff that gave credence or reminded people of the Third Reich imagery. And then he went and spent $8 million on a Super Bowl ad last night for a 30-second ad of him looking at the camera and saying, go to Yeezy.com. When people went to Yeezy.com after the game, there was only one shirt on sale, a black and white shirt with a swastika on it. Bro. He has since left Twitter once again.
Bro. So hold on. I'm watching the game live, right? I'm watching the game. And commercials in the Super Bowl, as I'm sure you know, Michael, are like
part
big
of the
deal.
Show.
Millions of dollars just to even get a small ad on the Super Bowl. So when Kanye comes up, I'm like laughing. He's like in a dentist chair with like a new grill, like teeth in, and he's like, I spent so much money on these. I didn't have much for this commercial. And he's just kind of like stuttering and being weird. And then all he just says is go to Yeezy.com. And that's the ad. That's it. It's him on a cell phone talking about Yeezy.com. And then I didn't even know this until today, but when you go to the website, the only shirt is a white t-shirt with a black swastika on it.
Brian, can you go to Yeezy.com and does Chrome have the, Zoom have
There it is.
Yeah, I already did it. I was really hoping you didn't ask me to do that.
Oh, I'm sorry. We'll get rid of it quick before we get...
Yeah, but I mean, hey, that
like,
just when you think he can't get
any more batshit crazy.
Yeah.
So he was going at fat women. I mean, fat women, Jews.
Yeah, big time.
I mean, what is going on there?
Yeah, he said.
Look, listen.
He said the biggest sexual assaulters are fat women because I see them and I'm sexually assaulted.
Oh my God.
Well, he is a man of the people. They are only $20.
If you're trying to be, what was that,
cheap.
Brian?
They're only
The
20
shirts are
bucks.
cheap. They're only $20.
Jesus. Oh my God.
Bro.
What is it? Ah, shit, it's by my elbow.
What is it's getting crazy, right? Because the Bryce Mitchell stuff, Kanye, it's like, how am I seeing so many swastikas again? Like it almost makes you lose your mind. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm in an alternate universe sometimes when this kind of stuff starts happening. It's like we're going backwards in a lot of ways.
So Sean talked about this a little bit in this interview, and he was talking about Bryce Mitchell and how he is a product of spending too much time online. And he kind of had a point, to be fair. He's like, you go down a certain rabbit hole, the algorithm starts showing you more and more stuff. You look at certain stuff, the algorithm knows you're watching this video for a while, so therefore it has your attention. So then it starts spewing you more and more stuff like that. And that kind of, he was trying to not excuse. He was trying to explain why Bryce Mitchell probably
how he could get to that point, basically.
How he came to this conclusion, right? Because the gas chambers are still there. People died. It was insane. We don't need to go through it all, okay? Hitler was not a good guy. I think we can all agree on that. He's probably one of the most despicable human evil beings that has ever lived and walked the planet. Right? We don't need to go on that. We don't need to say that. We don't need to disagree. But what is going on with everyone else and Kanye West spending $8 million to sell T-shirts with swastikas on?
Nuts, dude.
Is he mental?
I don't know.
Is he just lost? Is he actually crazy?
Yeah,
Brian and
he's making that money back.
Your opinions.
Well, I certainly don't think he's making the money back from the ad on those shirts at $20 a piece.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah, man. I just think everyone's a little confused out there. I think you're right, Michael. And I think Sean actually does have a really good point where you can just get, you don't, I feel like we all don't really know anything anymore because there is so much crazy information and there's so many sources of this and that. And I love conspiracy theories. I love digging into some crazy shit and stuff with the government and, who's really in control. But when it comes to stuff like that and things that really people lost their lives and it's just tragedy like that, that's where it's like, man, for people to kind of go against history in that regard is where I start to go, what is really happening?
There's a lot of people that firmly believe the kind of
dude, if you even look at the comments of things like when Bryce is like apologizing, the amount of people on X and things that are saying, oh, like you lost a follower, you should stick to your guns and stuff like that. It's just, I see why people have had enough with some online platforms. Not that I am, because I feel like everybody is entitled to say what, you want to say some wacky shit, you can say it, but you just have to be really careful on what is fun, what is going too far, and when do you have to check yourself and go, okay, what are my sources, what am I really looking at? Because you can end up just not knowing what's up, what's down, what's real and what's not.
No, it's easy to be radicalized, going down certain rabbit holes. But yeah, man, it's insane. I mean, look, listen, Twitter, it can be, you know what I mean? Put some crazy shit on there. If you're not offended easily and you want to see some wild videos, you want to see some violence, you want to see some crazy.
Yeah, you want to see people die.
You want to see people die in real time.
I've seen so many people die recently. Jesus, it's crazy. People falling off balconies and like smashing into the ground. I'm like, oh, like I didn't need to see that today. Sorry. What the hell? Why is my algorithm telling me that? See, there you go.
I feel like we can tell a lot about a person by their algorithm suggestions.
Oh man, yeah. Like my explore page on Instagram, it's like, there's a lot of bike riding and fun stuff like that too. But keep that secret.
Instagram likes to throw up a lot of tits and ass as well, though.
Yeah, they do.
Because they know demographic guys Do you know what I mean? It's
Yep.
like, here, take a look at this. I'm like, babe, I don't follow these pages.
Yeah, it's like, I swear to God, I just scroll by and it's like boobs in my
Jesus
face.
Christ.
What am I gonna do?
Not me. It's not me. I promise. I promise. All right. Listen, anyway, whatever. Harrington, give us some MMA news. What do we have, please? And I don't know. I think I might like this situation where Harrington can't jump on the screen and only speak to us. This might be a better way.
Yeah, I agree. Could not couldn't do any better than this. Well, I had one thing, still 312 related a little bit. It was Dricuss's suggestion for what should be next for two of his former opponents. He said, the fight that makes the most sense in the world, Strickland versus Adesanya 2, as a fight night headliner.
That is, I said that to Dricuss when I saw him at the bar when we were chatting. I'm like, by the way, bro, that was a masterclass in passive aggressive trash talk. It was like
a fight night,
a little kick in the balls. Oh yeah, perfect fight that makes sense. Strickland and Izzy, main event of a fight night. Put him at the apex. You know what I mean?
Crazy. I kind of felt that dig a little bit too there. Like, oh yeah, that'd be a good idea.
But Izzy was there. I was walking off to the bathroom with Dricuss. Sounds weird. We're going for a pee, and Izzy runs up from behind him. And I don't know if you'd seen that or not. He didn't care. It was great to see that as well because they had a really honest, fun, laughing, joking interaction. But hey, listen, you just beat the guys. You're allowed to talk a bit of shit. That's just it comes with the territory. Simple as that.
Yeah, I saw a thing too where somebody was they put out I don't know if it was an Instagram post or something like that, but it was like seeing Izzy kind of make amends with all of his former opponents makes them realize that maybe that is the fire kind of going and that the hunger isn't there as much anymore. And I thought that was kind of an interesting point when you start to see that kind of feels like you're nearing the end when you do that, right? That these guys that you were bitter rivals with, you kind of start joking. I mean, look, you're shooting the shit with GSP. You were on a podcast with Luke Rockhold. When you were in the heart of that shit, Michael.
No way.
You're no way were you doing that. No way.
No way.
But after the fact, when you know it's all over and you can kind of look back and it's all said and done, you realize you were all in that trying to do the same thing at the same time and that, you can let bygones be bygones. But I thought that was an interesting point that, that kind of is a sign of when it's like, okay, the sun is setting on this career that I've had, and I can joke and kind of relive these memories with these guys now.
I tell you what, it does, as an older guy now, 46, and not being a professional fighter, it feels nice, and it's almost like, it's nice not to be walking around trying to have to prove that I can beat everyone in a fight. Do you know what I mean? I'm very comfortable with people maybe talking a little bit of shit. I had to clap back at Strickland a little bit in our interviews.
Yeah.
I'll put place.
You know what I mean? Everyone could feel it. Everyone.
He was like, well, the thing was, we were chatting and when he's like, oh, normally with the media, I tell these guys to go F themselves, but this guy can fight a little bit. And I was like, a little bit, bro?
Yeah.
A little bit. So I had to stand my ground on that one, but it does feel good to let that energy go, that kind of that, because it's like it's there at the back of your mind. When you're a fighter, you got to prove yourself. You're trying to become the champion. You want to prove that you can beat everyone in the room, and to let go of that energy, it is very freeing and just brings a little bit of peace and calmness.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's kind of why we're talking about trying to get. Who on the podcast and have a chat with old Dan, and that's one of the things I look forward to. Yeah, I haven't really in a while had a chance to sit down, kind of relive those memories. I know he's still in it, but he knows I'm not anymore, right? So I feel like he can even open up with me because I'm not trying to come back for him. You know what I mean? I'm not coming back for that fight. And when I see RDA and I see those guys, or I talk to crazy Mike Perry, you love to relive those kind of moments when it's all said and done because you're right. I'm not trying to be, I want that one back. I can do this. I can do that. It's like, no, man. And every time I see Edson, big smile on our faces. We give each other a huge hug. And it is refreshing to kind of know that, man, I don't have anything to prove anymore. I did it. You did it. You were a champion. You know what you were capable of. And to be able to walk through life and see these fighters when we're on the road and stuff and not have that edge about us, I think it's fun.
Because it's exhausting as well at the same time.
Yeah,
And
it
I'll tell you
is.
what else is exhausting. Rebecca, get in the shower. Just walk past. I'll cover up the camera. She's still sitting there. Babe, I'm starving. When we've done this, I want to go. Right. I will
Oh.
cover up the camera. Just bloody walk past and get in the shower. Sorry, Paul. We're having a domestic live on the podcast, babe. I will cut you. They won't see you in the bathroom. Come on, woman. Jesus, what is she like? Hold on. There you go. No one can see you, babe. Yeah, cover your eyes, Paul. Cover your eyes. You don't want to see this. You don't. There you go. You go. What? Yeah. Oh, well, close that door. There you go. Door's closed. Boom. No, but see, you know.
Talk about a viral moment, though, Michael. If you accidentally set this podcast up and in the background is poor Rebecca in the shower, you don't know it. Oh my God.
No, but you know, yeah, women take a long time to get ready. And I will say this, she's better these days, you know, but it's always like, I don't know what you're like with Christine, but I have to strategize the amount of time, or when say we're going out for dinner or something, I have to find something to do first. I say, you start getting ready. And then I'll do something and then get ready. Because if I get ready and then I get showered and then I'm ready to walk out and she's taking ages, I do start to get a little bit annoyed. I do start to get a bit pissed off. I'm like, come on, what the hell are you possibly doing?
Yeah, for us, it's a little different right now just because of Ruby's too. And our nights out are so few and far between at this point that, yeah, I don't know that. I don't have that life anymore. I'm not going to anytime. I'm not going to anytime soon either, Michael. Not with number 3 anyway.
No.
It's going to be a while.
No. You got a few months of crazy hormones on the way.
Yeah. Well, we're getting to a better part of it right now. I mean, make sure she's not hearing me, but
yeah, no, be careful.
Or the early stages, yeah, it was. She was tired. She was grumpy, and if I said the wrong thing, man, me and my older daughter got the brunt end of that one.
Oh yeah.
Yo, I was talking to, sorry to jump in, guys. I was talking to my wife about that this morning. Like we're probably trying to get pregnant again before the end of the year. And she was saying like, oh yeah, that's the best. Like I was reminiscing on how much I loved, when she was pregnant. And then she reminded me like, yeah, except for that first 3 months when I couldn't stand you, didn't want to touch you, didn't want to be in the same room as you, hated 100%. Everything about you. It was like, oh man,
I'm hoping that I'm ending that. Hopefully it looks like we're on the end of that right now because that's been life.
Harrington, if you're trying to have another baby, apparently this is Rebecca's big movement right now. You got to have pure cotton underwear because apparently all the new kind of like fabrics that you use, they are contributing to men being infertile.
Low sperm count.
Lower sperm count. Apparently all the polyester fabrics and all the chemicals that they put in them are lowering people's sperm counts.
All right, that's scary because I've been, what underwear I wear exclusively, so I'm gonna need to.
Oh, good, yeah. Me and you talk about your underwear a lot. I do know. I'm sure Brian has a theory on that. It's probably Bill Gates trying to reduce the size of the population. Brian.
Oh, hey man, I don't really care about the underwear thing too much. There's too much other crazy shit going on in the world.
Yeah.
With a voice like yours, I know you go commando, Brian.
Sometimes jeans is tough though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not fun in jeans. Sweatpants all day. Jeans, not so much.
Dustin Porrier, of course, we're all waiting to hear about the. He said he's going to have one more. I hope he has more than. But Paddy Pimblett was suggested to him as an opponent, and he's like, nah, I'm not interested in Paddy Pimblett. Legends only.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Dustin Porrier has 100% earned that. You know what I mean? Like, as much of if he was still in the mix and really just trying to stick around for a long time, maybe taking out a young, hungry contender is something he'd be interested in. But right now, if he's thinking about calling it a day and wants one big, more legendary fight, that's not who I want to see him fight either, honestly. I want to see Poirier in there with somebody that's already very, very established, just had either a crazy career or is still right in the heat of it. you know, like another Max Holloway type fight, a Gaethje type fight. I'm not saying those guys are the guys, but that kind of fight, especially if it's going to be in New Orleans, which I know is something that they're working on or targeting. I don't know if it's going to happen, but that would be awesome to see Poirier have one more fight in Louisiana to send it off. I was actually just reaching out to him today because I wanted to talk to him about, I think he had some work on his hip a while back, and I'm thinking about getting am I muted?
No, get him on the podcast.
Yeah, I'll reach out to him. I just got his number, so I'm going to reach out to him about his hip that he had done a long time ago. And it's something similar.
This is great. Paul Felder is bringing the guests to the table, because I've probably annoyed a lot of people over the years, because I reach out to these people and they see it and they go, off. We're not talking to him. But with Felder on board, it's a whole new era.
Yeah, we can play good cop, bad cop on these guys. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know, it's like if they don't answer you, maybe they'll answer me. They don't answer me, maybe they'll talk to Michael. So we got a good thing going.
Yeah, it's got to be just engaging the one-on-one. Max Holloway, he beat him twice, I think, but I'd like to see that again. Who else? Harrington O'Brien, if you got any suggestions. I mean, I'm not going to say Conor McGregor because I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Yeah.
Nate Diaz, that ship has sailed. I don't think he'll be coming back to the UFC anytime soon. Gaethje, obviously. We said Holloway.
I'll be honest, grudge match. I mean, he's probably not going to want to make the money with him, but Colby Covington, that would sell some pay-per-views. Neither guy is really in, contender for a title anytime soon. It just kind of lines up for where they both are in their career.
Nope. I like it.
Yeah, I was going to say that's not, and he hates him. He hates him. And those kind of fights are the kind of fights that can get you fired up. You know what I mean? Especially if you're near the end, you think it's going to be done. You want to just go beat somebody's ass one last time. That's a good one.
And I think Colby would want that. I mean, that's a great
Why
fight.
not?
Yeah, perennial contender at welterweight. Grudge match. Big name. Colby's at the end of his career as well, respectfully, I think it makes sense. Of course, Colby's going to be a little bit bigger, being a welterweight, but Dustin's probably not that much smaller. He wouldn't have to cut weight. He could take more damage. His chin would be better. He would be a little bit stronger. Two big stars, big name, pay-per-view. Yeah. Well done, Harrington.
I like it.
For once.
Yeah.
You did it. You did it. All right, Harrington, any other news for us before we wrap this one up and we answer questions when people have sent them into bympod@gmail.com. We will answer them at the end of the show after you've subscribed and you've rung the bell and you've left a comment and you've shared this on Twitter. Then we'll answer your question. But have you got a topic, Harrington?
Yeah, typically, you don't get too excited for venues, but I think these two are worth noting. UFC 314 is official for Miami. UFC 315 is official. First time the UFC is going back to Montreal in almost a decade.
Yeah, I fought there in Montreal last time, but I want to talk about Miami. Obviously, last year, what was it, 299? MVP, Kevin Holland, Dustin Porrier, Benoit Saint-Denis. Some great fights that night. Because we had Volkanovski on the weigh-in show. And Volk said for a long time, he is only fighting the champion when he comes back. And he was like, maybe it's Islam, maybe it's not. Maybe Islam's going to go up to 155. Oh, sorry, maybe it's Topuria, pardon me. Maybe it's Topuria, maybe it's not. He said maybe Topuria is going to go up to 155 and fight Islam. And I see a lot of people online, they want that as well. I saw a post from Rogan today. He was talking about it, I think on the Fight Companion. I kind of like that as well.
The Islam versus Topuria.
Topuria.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it'd be a fun fight. There's no doubt about it. I feel bad for Volk if that's the situation that he gets put in, because he's only wanted to take that fight. He's only got a little bit more time left where he's going to continue to fight. I wonder if they do that, if Volk gets a interim belt shot in the meantime and maybe takes
versus
on somebody
Diego
like
Lopez.
A Diego Lopez. That's a fun fight, right? It's still fresh. It's somebody he hasn't fought. It's a chance for him to kind of regain that belt and then get a chance at Topuria, and gives him 2 more big fights before maybe he calls it quits. In that situation, that makes me like it, because it gives somebody like Diego Lopez also a huge opportunity to get a massive fight against somebody like Volkanovski. And again, it's new blood for Alexander Volkanovski, which that's got to be exciting for a guy who's faced people multiple times like that. And especially a guy like Topuria, you know, if he's going to move up and face Islam, it gives you an opportunity to get something new going before you have to face him again and get a fresh fight, get your feet wet, get back in there, maybe get a win, maybe not. But, I mean, if you're not getting past Diego Lopez, then you're probably not going to get past Topuria either.
I just want to say, you mentioned Volk there. It's like, I don't know if there's a cooler, to use an English term, a sounder human being than Volk, right?
Yeah.
His energy is just awesome. I mean, obviously in the cage, he's a monster. He's just the nicest, the coolest, the funniest, the most humble, the most down-to-earth, approachable, normal human being that you've ever met in your life. Everywhere he was going in Australia, people love this guy. They showed him on the screen. The round of applause was awesome. I mean, he's had a legendary career. He's done very well. We did the Wayne show. He had a solid gold Hublot on, right? And I said, geez, Louise, nice watch, Volk. He said, oh, yeah, they're a sponsor. He's sponsored by Hublot. They're sending him solid gold watches, and, you know, he'll get checks as well. You know, he doesn't just get merchandise. But it just shows you the level that these assholes are getting these days. Not back in my day, but now they're sponsored by bloody old, I think Dricus Du Plessis, he's sponsored by Mercedes-Benz. He's driving around in G-Wagons that he's getting for free. Volk's getting free Hublots, you know.
Times are different, Michael. Times are different.
I was sponsored by Condom Depot.
Yeah. I remember that on everybody's shorts.
On their ass.
Dipyourcar.com. I was sponsored by Dip Your Car. Like,
did either of you guys ever have a Mickey's sponsorship?
No, God, I mean, I should have.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul should have done. I'm trying to think, what were some of the worst ones that I had? There were some like crazy ones, but you know, that's old school MMA.
Ammo, there was like an ammo one that was a big sponsor of the UFC for a while.
I'm going to start
Condom
looking
Depot.
for watches for us, because I want a baller watch.
I want a baller watch as well. I've got a few, but they've all been gifts, to be fair. I got gifted one by the Sheikh of Dubai. Yeah, everyone's like, nice watch. I'm like, I didn't buy it. You know, it was a beautiful gift. Yeah, very nice. Anyway, I just want to say, Bolt, fair play, deserves it. Son of a bitch. I'm only a little bit jealous.
Oh, yeah. I'm super jealous of all.
I know. G-Wagons, gold watches. What did I get? I got some Affliction shirts, though.
Yeah, man. You were bedazzled, I'll bet.
I was bedazzled. You know, Affliction's making a comeback.
Really?
In a big way. Because, you know, I got sent a few boxes of Affliction stuff back in the day. Skulls, dragons, bedazzled jewels, all over the place. And we know everyone was wearing it, and the skeletons on your chest and all the rest of it. And after a while, it was so played out. You know what I mean? Rebecca bought, look, she bought an Affliction shirt from the mall recently. She wears it to bed.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm sorry. And if Affliction want to sponsor the podcast, I rescind this statement.
Yeah.
I retract it. They're awesome.
Amazing.
It's not my cup of tea these days, though.
No, not what I normally go to. I'm done with the
It's
skulls.
very 2008.
Yeah, those things were. I never had any of them.
I never did an Ed Hardy. Brian, we're going to go to a questionnaire. Let's see what we got here. Some of the Ed Hardy ones. I mean, I guess some of them aren't that bad, I guess. These aren't that bad, if I'm honest.
No, there's no jewels on them.
Yeah, the bedazzled ones. The bedazzled ones were the bad. Yeah, but that's 2008 MMA board shorts down to the knee.
Long shorts all the way past your knee.
No
Can't
style.
even kicking them.
Tito Ortiz flames all over the shorts. Anyway, If you got a question, guys, send it into bympod@gmail.com. I just want to say thanks, Paul. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Harrington, because they were very patient with me today. I'm in Australia. We had some connection issues, so we were delayed for a while. They're sitting in New York and Philadelphia, probably thinking, Jesus Christ, Bisping. Rebecca's in the shower, and we're going to answer a quick question. As I say, Paul, what's the website?
You got to send it to bympod@gmail.com, man.
Like
Come on. Come on. I got it now. I got it.
We got it, bro. What we got, Brian?
All right, so we have a question. It's a charity challenge from Paul. This is from Mike Ruddle. He sent in the receipt from the last one, so we know he's gonna follow through.
Hey, what's up, guys? This question is for Paul Felder, and it comes with a charity challenge. I've done this before with both Michael and Anthony at different times. They were both successful, and now it's your turn. Here's how it works. If you win, I will donate $100 to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. But if you lose, well, I'll pause for a second so you can decide whether to accept the challenge or not. All right, assuming you've accepted, here's your challenge. In 60 seconds, name every fighter you fought in the UFC in order, starting from your debut. Ready? Go.
All right.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm going to start a timer. 3, 1, go.
Jason Sago, Danny Castillo, Edson Barboza, Ross Pearson, Darren Cruikshank. I'm going to forget his freaking name.
Come on, bro.
Oh, my God. He was a welterweight coming down to 155. I can't remember his name.
No. How can you forget an opponent's?
I can't
Keep
remember
going.
his
Keep
name.
going. Keep going.
Then it was Francisco Trinaldo. Then it was Alessandro Ricci, Stevie Ray, Charles Oliveira, Mike Perry, James Vick, Edson Barboza, Dan Hooker, and RDA.
1 minute, 3 seconds.
How long was it supposed to be?
A minute.
Oh,
But
I lost.
We'll say the 3 seconds on my fingers, turning it round.
Josh Berkman.
Josh Berkman?
was
Nailed
the
it.
one.
Josh Berkman.
Yes.
Hey, I'll tell you what, from where I'm standing, the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia just got $100 richer.
That was Josh Berkman. I for some reason of all the roster, it was because he wasn't really around that long after that. So it's not like he had many more fights. I think he had one more fight or maybe 2 more fights and he retired after that. But I remember being really scared of that guy at the time because he was a welterweight moving down the 155 and I thought he was going to be huge. I think I ended up being bigger than him in there, to be honest with you. But Josh Berkman, I smashed his nose.
That's an old school name. I haven't heard that for a
remember
while.
Josh Berkman?
Yeah.
I
Quite the
broke his
resume,
nose
Paul,
horribly.
I might say.
Yeah. And 2 of them, I guess I skipped. No, I said Edson twice. Yeah, I said Edson twice.
Nice.
Did I miss any? I didn't miss any, right?
No, Bergman.
Just Josh Berkman, and then you got him at the end.
Did I get him in order?
Absolutely in order.
Wow, I'm impressed with that at least. At least I knew the,
The big brain on Brad. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the show. Paul's got to go. I've got to get out and about and enjoy Sydney. Thanks for watching. We'll be back with another show. Subscribe and ring the bell. Enjoy your day.